A German theologian discovered something so dangerous about human nature that it likely contributed to his execution by the Nazis in 1945. Dietrich Bonhoeffer realized that stupidity, not evil, poses the greatest threat to civilization. His observation was simple, yet terrifying. Society systematically rewards the stupid while punishing those who think independently. Most people believe intelligence leads to success, but Bonhoeffer witnessed the opposite in Nazi Germany. The brightest minds were silenced, exiled, or killed, while those who mindlessly followed orders were promoted and celebrated. This wasn't an accident of history, but a deliberate feature of how power operates. What Bonhoeffer uncovered goes far beyond politics. He identified the psychological mechanisms that transform rational individuals into unthinking masses, and more importantly, why those in power actively cultivate this transformation. The implications reach into every aspect of modern life. Workplaces that promote incompetent managers, social media algorithms that amplify the loudest voices rather than the wisest, and educational systems that reward conformity over critical thinking. Those who understand these mechanisms gain a devastating advantage. They can recognize when stupidity is being weaponized against them, protect themselves from collective madness, and navigate a world where thinking clearly becomes a form of rebellion. Each section reveals specific strategies for maintaining intellectual independence in an increasingly stupid world, ending with actionable methods for breaking free from society's stupidity machine. The terrifying discovery that cost Bonhoeffer his life. From his prison cell in 1942, Bonhoeffer wrote words that would shake anyone brave enough to confront them. In his essay, After 10 Years, he declared that stupidity is a more dangerous enemy of the good than malice. He wasn't referring to simple ignorance or lack of education. He had witnessed something far more sinister: the systematic transformation of intelligent Germans into a thoughtless mob. Bonhoeffer observed that many Nazis weren't inherently evil or unintelligent. They were ordinary people who had surrendered their capacity for independent thought. Against stupidity, he wrote, "We are defenseless. Neither protests nor the use of force accomplish anything here. Reasons fall on deaf ears." This defensive quality of stupidity created an impenetrable barrier to reason. Bonhoeffer noted that facts that contradict one's prejudgment simply need not be believed. In such moments, the stupid person even becomes critical. And when facts are irrefutable, they are just pushed aside as inconsequential, as incidental. The theologian realized he was witnessing something unprecedented, a society that had made stupidity profitable. Those who asked uncomfortable questions disappeared. Those who blindly followed orders received promotions, social status, and material rewards. The system had created powerful incentives for people to abandon critical thinking. Bonhoeffer's insight went deeper than political analysis. He understood that stupidity is perhaps less a psychological than a sociological problem. Society was actively producing stupid people because stupid people were easier to control. This discovery made him incredibly dangerous to the Nazi regime. A man who could see through the machinery of manufactured stupidity couldn't be allowed to share his insights. Bonhoeffer was executed on April 9, 1945, just weeks before Germany's surrender, but his analysis survived to reveal the terrifying truth about how power operates. When you're being rewarded for not thinking, recognize that your compliance is the real goal. The system wants obedient subjects, not intelligent ones, and understanding this dynamic protects you from becoming another manufactured fool. Why intelligent people become stupid in groups. The most disturbing aspect of Bonhoeffer's theory wasn't that stupid people act stupidly, but that intelligent people become stupid when absorbed into groups. Modern psychology has validated this observation through decades of research on conformity, groupthink, and social proof. Solomon Asch's conformity experiments in the 1950s demonstrated that people will deny the evidence of their own eyes when faced with group pressure. Participants who could easily identify the longer line when alone would choose obviously wrong answers when surrounded by confederates giving incorrect responses. The mere presence of a unanimous group was enough to override individual perception. Stanley Milgram's obedience studies revealed something even more chilling. Ordinary people would administer what they believed were dangerous electric shocks to strangers simply because an authority figure told them to continue. The participants weren't sadistic. They were following the group's definition of appropriate behavior. Bonhoeffer anticipated these findings by observing the psychological transformation he witnessed in Germany. In conversation with a stupid person, he wrote, "One virtually feels that one is dealing not at all with a person, but with slogans, catchwords, and the like that have taken possession of him." The mechanism is surprisingly simple. Groups provide psychological safety through shared responsibility. When everyone is doing something, no individual feels accountable for the consequences. This diffusion of responsibility allows people to participate in actions they would never consider alone. Groups also offer identity and belonging, powerful human needs that override rational analysis. The desire to remain part of the group becomes stronger than the desire to be right. People begin filtering information not for accuracy, but for group compatibility. Social media has weaponized these tendencies on an unprecedented scale. Algorithms create echo chambers that simulate group consensus while actually isolating individuals. People mistake the appearance of widespread agreement for truth, surrendering their judgment to artificial crowds. The most intelligent people often fall hardest because they're used to being right. When the group disagrees with their analysis, they assume they must be missing something. They begin second-guessing their most reliable faculty, independent thought. Maintaining at least one relationship with someone who will tell you uncomfortable truths becomes essential. Actively seek out information that contradicts your group's beliefs and question any idea that feels too comfortable or makes you feel superior to others. The social machinery that manufactures stupidity. Bonhoeffer recognized that stupidity doesn't emerge naturally, but is manufactured by social systems that benefit from unthinking compliance. He observed that every strong upsurge of power in the public sphere, be it of a political or of a religious nature, infects a large part of humankind with stupidity. These systems operate through carefully designed incentive structures that make stupidity profitable and intelligence costly. Consider the modern workplace. Organizations routinely promote people who excel at following procedures rather than questioning them. The employee who asks, "Why are we doing this?" creates problems for management. The one who simply executes orders, no matter how illogical, gets ahead. Over time, questioning becomes associated with career damage, while mindless compliance brings rewards. Educational systems follow similar patterns. Students learn to give teachers the answers they want rather than developing independent analysis. Standardized testing rewards memorization over critical thinking. The student who challenges curriculum assumptions faces lower grades, while the one who regurgitates approved information succeeds. Media systems amplify this manufacturing process. Complex issues get reduced to simple narratives that require no deep thinking. Nuanced analysis doesn't generate clicks or engagement. Emotional reactions do. The audience is trained to consume information passively rather than analyze it critically. Social media platforms have perfected the stupidity machine. Algorithms reward posts that generate immediate emotional responses rather than thoughtful consideration. The person who shares a nuanced, well-researched analysis gets ignored. The one who posts an inflammatory oversimplification goes viral. Political systems complete the cycle. Voters who demand simple solutions to complex problems get politicians who provide them. Candidates who acknowledge complexity and trade-offs lose to those who promise easy answers. The system selects for leaders who either think simplistically themselves or are willing to pretend they do. Bonhoeffer noted this crucial dynamic. The power of the one needs the stupidity of the other. The manufactured stupidity serves power by creating predictable, manageable populations. Stupid people don't ask inconvenient questions, challenge authority, or demand accountability. Identifying when systems are rewarding you for not thinking becomes crucial for intellectual survival. Question any environment where compliance brings more benefits than competence, and actively seek out sources of information that make you uncomfortable rather than confirmed. How power feeds on collective mindlessness. The relationship between power and stupidity isn't accidental, it's symbiotic. Those who hold power actively cultivate stupidity in others because intelligent populations threaten authority, while stupid ones sustain it. Bonhoeffer witnessed this dynamic in its most extreme form, but the pattern operates across all power structures. Intelligent people ask inconvenient questions. Why should we trust you? How do you know this is true? What evidence supports this claim? Who benefits from this arrangement? Stupid people accept authority without question. They find comfort in surrendering decision-making to others and actually resist information that would force them to think independently. Historical examples abound. The Roman Empire's bread and circuses kept populations entertained and fed while stripping them of political engagement. Medieval churches promoted faith over reason, ensuring believers wouldn't question religious authority. Modern consumer culture encourages people to define themselves through purchases rather than developing independent identity. Bonhoeffer noted the defensive quality that makes stupidity so valuable to power. Against stupidity, we are defenseless. Neither protests nor the use of force accomplish anything here. A stupid population is self-maintaining. Stupid people don't just fail to resist authority, they actively defend it against those who would challenge it. The mechanism works through identity fusion. Stupid people merge their sense of self with the authority they follow. Criticism of the leader becomes criticism of themselves. They experience attacks on authority as personal attacks, triggering emotional rather than rational responses. Power amplifies this process by providing simple explanations for complex problems. Your difficulties are caused by this scapegoat. Follow us and we'll solve everything. This narrative relieves people of the burden of independent analysis while providing someone to blame for their frustrations. Modern technology has supercharged these dynamics. Data analytics allow authorities to precisely target individual psychological vulnerabilities. Personalized propaganda adapts to each person's specific fears and desires. The stupid person believes they're thinking independently while actually following a script written by algorithms. The most sophisticated forms of power don't suppress intelligence directly. They redirect it into harmless channels. Academic debates about obscure theoretical points, passionate arguments about entertainment, endless analysis of celebrities and sports. Intelligent people exhaust their intellectual energy on trivia while real power operates unopposed. Bonhoeffer's crucial insight was that this process transforms people. Under certain circumstances, people are made stupid or that they allow this to happen to them. Recognizing when your intelligence is being redirected toward harmless targets allows you to focus intellectual energy on understanding and challenging actual power structures rather than getting distracted by manufactured controversies. Breaking free from the stupidity machine. Bonhoeffer's analysis offers no easy comfort, but it does provide a path to intellectual freedom. The first step is recognizing that stupidity is a choice, not an inevitable condition. Even in Nazi Germany, some people maintained their capacity for independent thought. The difference wasn't intelligence, but courage. Breaking free requires accepting an uncomfortable reality. Thinking independently means standing alone sometimes. The stupid person enjoys the comfort of group consensus. The thinking person must tolerate uncertainty, complexity, and social isolation. This price explains why so many choose manufactured stupidity over authentic thought. The practical approach begins with information diet. Stop consuming media designed to generate emotional reactions rather than understanding. Seek out sources that make you uncomfortable rather than confirmed. Read primary sources instead of summaries. Engage with the strongest versions of arguments you disagree with rather than weak strawmen. Develop relationships with people who will challenge your thinking rather than validate your existing beliefs. The stupidity machine works by surrounding people with echoes of their own thoughts. Breaking free requires exposure to genuinely different perspectives, especially from those who disagree with you respectfully and intelligently. Practice intellectual humility. The moment you become certain that you have complete understanding of complex issues, you've begun the slide into stupidity. Bonhoeffer noted that stupid people are utterly self-satisfied, completely confident in their ignorance. Question any system that rewards you for not thinking. If your workplace, social circle, or political group punishes questions and rewards compliance, recognize that you're inside a stupidity machine. Either work to change it or prepare to leave it. Most importantly, accept responsibility for your own mind. Bonhoeffer wrote that only an act of liberation, not instruction, can overcome stupidity. But he also believed individuals could resist social pressure to surrender their intelligence. The choice between thinking and not thinking remains yours, regardless of external pressures. Bonhoeffer's final insight from his prison cell: it really will depend on whether those in power expect more from people's stupidity than from their inner independence and wisdom. In a world that systematically rewards stupidity, intelligence becomes a form of rebellion. Those who maintain their capacity for independent thought aren't just protecting themselves, they're preserving the possibility of a more rational future. The thinking person's greatest contribution isn't having the right answers, but continuing to ask the right questions.